Chapter 2246. Bone Hell, Devouring the Origin.
They finally couldn't hold back.
Lin Moyu coldly looked at the three people who came from the Black Blood Great World, all of them Saint Lords. As a terrifying world that could once rival the Great World, even though defeated, the number of Saint Lords wouldn't be too few. At least not fewer than the demon race. Over 1,000,000 years, the Black Blood Great World had also been recovering, and with the origin in their hands, it was normal for them to produce a few Saint Lords. Previously, when their plans were disrupted and origin crystals destroyed, they never took action. Now they finally couldn't hold back anymore.
It's good that they came.
Lin Moyu smiled coldly. The hidden vermin finally surfaced. He wasn't afraid of these kinds of creatures coming. He was only afraid they wouldn't show up. Once they appeared, there was nothing to fear. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed slightly. From the direction they flew in, he could analyze a lot of information.
It should be the dark void between the Qinglong Star region and the Xuanwu Star region. As expected, they were in the dark void. It seems I did search carefully enough. After dealing with the origin crystals, I'll search more thoroughly. The remnants of the Black Blood Great World certainly won't be in just one place. The 4 battlegrounds can't be overlooked either. There's still a lot to do.
Lin Moyu felt that to completely clear out this trash would still take quite some time. But it didn't matter. He still had time. The 100 Races War ended earlier than expected, giving him more time to work with. The vermilion bird also noticed the people from the Black Blood Great World and turned its head to look. Lin Moyu said to the vermilion bird,
"I'll handle them."
The vermilion bird seemed to trust Lin Moyu very much and turned its head back, no longer paying attention. It was in the middle of clearing away the polluted blood, which was a contest of origin powers, and couldn't spare attention for now. Lin Moyu lightly tapped his finger, and undying flames exploded in space, with 25 skeleton thrones collectively appearing. A full 25 skeleton kings, each emitting the aura of a Saint Lord, looking incredibly powerful.
3 versus 25, not a fair distribution.
Lin Moyu muttered softly, too lazy to manage it himself, letting the skeleton kings allocate themselves. The auras of the 3 Saint Lords from the Black Blood Great World fluctuated violently. They seemed to be in shock. They didn't stop, thin blood swords appearing in their hands as the 3 simultaneously drew closer to each other. Killing intent spread, and the 3 fused into one, their aura rising sharply. One of the abilities of the Black Blood Great World's powerhouses was to fuse with each other. After the 3 fused into one, their power surged, instantly transforming into a half-step supreme. A half-step supreme indeed had the power to fight against 25 skeleton kings at the Saint Lord level. But that was just the power to fight. The skeleton kings weren't ordinary Saint Lords. If killed, Lin Moyu could summon them again at any time. At this moment, a origin crystal appeared in the black-robed person's hand, which they directly put into their mouth. Origin power flowed through their body, their aura surging again, almost reaching the limit of half-step supreme. At the same time, due to the enhancement of origin power, their attacks would also increase greatly. Lin Moyu coldly laughed.
Origin power? I have that too.
He snapped his fingers, and an aura of origin immediately spread over the skeleton kings. Origin spell. Strengthen troops. The origin spell also contained origin power, pure and powerful. The damage caused by the skeleton kings instantly increased tenfold, but this was just the beginning. Colorful water, belief power, Lin Moyu spared no cost. Facing people from the Black Blood Great World, there was no room for holding back. As the distance shortened to 10 million kilometers, the skeleton kings also raised their swords at this moment. Spell, God Slayer. Sword light flashed, and 25 attacks simultaneously landed on the opponent. The damage was amplified tenfold, plus the enhancement from colorful water and belief power. The actual damage increased by who knows how many times. Anyway, Lin Moyu felt that even a true half-step supreme couldn't withstand this sword strike. The half-step supreme let out a miserable scream as sword light exploded on their body, nearly blasting it to pieces. At the same time, the bone law erupted, countless attacks simultaneously affecting their soul, while their body exploded with dense wounds. The fusion shattered, and the three separated again, each severely injured with mutilated bodies, revealing corpse-like flesh.
Too weak.
Lin Moyu shook his head lightly. After reaching the other shore realm, even half-step supremes were no longer his match. This is what it means to be invincible within one's realm. As long as he entered the other shore realm, there were no opponents within the other shore realm. Whether Saint Lord or half-step supreme, the result was the same.
How can you be so strong? This is impossible. Even the top geniuses in the great world couldn't be this strong. The great world couldn't possibly produce a genius like you.
The three Saint Lords cried out in disbelief. They were severely injured, with almost no strength to fight back. Lin Moyu didn't bother to explain to them, only coldly saying,
I will find all of you and kill you clean, not leaving a single one.
The three Saint Lords looked at each other, seeming to have made some decision. Although they were injured, the killing intent on their bodies grew even stronger. Someone like Lin Moyu couldn't be allowed to live. The Skeleton Kings had already killed their way to the front, bone swords slashing through space, about to cut them into pieces. The three roared simultaneously, beginning to fuse again. Origin power erupted violently, forcibly pushing back the Skeleton Kings. The three disappeared, replaced by a slender sword over 10,000 meters long. Fresh blood flowed on the sword, with bloodlines writhing and crawling like snakes. On the sword hilt there was also an origin crystal. This origin crystal was much smaller than the one the vermilion bird was dealing with, only about 1% of its size, like a fragment. Its presence greatly enhanced the power of the slender sword. The slender sword moved like lightning towards Lin Moyu, its speed surpassing spatial limitations, crossing billions of miles in an instant, far exceeding the speed of light. Lin Moyu felt himself locked on, with no way to dodge. He remained extremely calm, not surprised. How could the people of the Black Blood Great World not have a few secret techniques to threaten the Great World? The bone hell appeared, blocking in front of Lin Moyu. The slender sword pierced into the bone hell, instantly killing countless hell fiends. But more hell fiends pounced out, grabbing the slender sword without regard for their lives, biting down. For hell fiends, there was nothing they couldn't eat. No matter what it was, they could take a bite. If it weren't for the space-time power being too strange, the bone hell could even eat the polluted blood and origin crystals for you. The slender sword struggled, erupting with origin power, shooting out countless sword energies. In the blink of an eye, millions of hell fiends were killed. But in the next second, even more hell fiends pounced on it, firmly trapping the slender sword. Sharp teeth bit down, and cracks appeared on the slender sword. The Hellfire River surged with huge waves, turning into giant hands that slapped down, working together with the Hell Fiends to smash the slender sword into the Hellfire River. The slender sword struggled frantically in the Hellfire River, but no matter how it struggled, it was useless. After advancing to the other shore realm, the Bone Hell had become extremely powerful and terrifying. Even Saint Lords would find it difficult to escape once inside. Now the three Saint Lords from the Black Blood Great World, already severely injured and weakened after transforming into a sword, similarly couldn't escape. Even with the aid of origin power, the result was the same. The Hell Fiends were inexhaustible when killed, and the power of the Hellfire River was endless. After struggling for a long time, the slender sword finally collapsed. The three Saint Lords transformed back, then were devoured to death. Lin Moyu left 3 pieces of flesh to replenish his previous consumption. That small origin crystal exploded in the Hellfire River, spreading countless black blood. The power of the black blood turned part of the Hellfire River black. But gradually, the power of the Hellfire River devoured it, and the Hellfire River returned to normal. Lin Moyu carefully sensed, confirming that the power of the Black Blood Great World had been completely devoured. After devouring the 3 Saint Lords and a bit of origin power, the aura of the Bone Hell surged greatly. The effect was even better than devouring billions of living beings and thousands of star systems.
The bone hell can even devour origin power. If it weren't for the space-time power, with just the bone hell alone, it could have thwarted the Black Blood Great Worlds plot.
2247 2247. Chapter 2247. Ants eating an elephant. Under the repeated roasting of the vermilion bird's flames, cracks appeared all over the origin crystal, finally reaching its limit and shattering with a boom. With one less source of origin power, the black blood frenzy would become even weaker. At this moment, both the vermilion bird and Lin Moyu looked up. After they destroyed this origin crystal, the other 4 origin crystals seemed to become more violent. The originally calm origin power became more intense, injecting into the black blood frenzy at an even faster speed. The vermilion bird said,
"We need to speed up."
Lin Moyu nodded and immediately opened a space gate. The two quickly headed to the next location, the Azure Dragon Battleground. With the marker, Lin Moyu could accurately locate the targets, finding them one by one without fail. The supply of origin power was becoming faster and faster, also indicating that the black blood frenzy would become more and more intense. The vermilion bird grew increasingly anxious. The two moved extremely quickly, trying to resolve the polluted blood and destroy the origin crystals as fast as possible. Azure Dragon Battleground, Black Tortoise Battleground, White Tiger Battleground. Lin Moyu could sense that the aura on the vermilion bird's body was weakening. Its power was not infinite and would eventually be exhausted. They traveled back and forth across various battlegrounds, finally destroying all 4 origin crystals. By the time they reached the last one, less than half of the power remained in the origin crystal. The vermilion bird said in a low voice,
"Next we need to deal with the black blood frenzy. Fortunately, we destroyed the origin crystals, so the destructive power of the black blood frenzy is only 1/3 of what it would have been."
It had experienced the black blood frenzy before, so its estimate shouldn't be wrong. This 1/3 referred to if all 10 origin crystals had been activated together, not compared to ancient times. Lin Moyu asked,
"Was the black blood frenzy in ancient times very powerful?"
The vermilion bird recalled with some reminiscence.
"Very powerful. Back then, the black blood frenzy covered an area of about 10,000 light years. Wherever it went, nothing could grow. Even we and the heavenly sovereigns were powerless to stop the black blood frenzy. In the end, it was the great world that used its origin power to repel the black blood frenzy. A world's origin power isn't something that can be used casually. There's a price to pay. When the origins collided, the great world's origin won, but it was a Pyrrhic victory. We underestimated the power of the black blood great world's origin. Its existence was extraordinary. The great world's origin was injured, damaging its foundation, which was difficult to repair. We are origin divine beasts nurtured by the great world. At that time, to repair the great world, we contributed most of our power and fell into slumber together. Although we all originate from the great world, the power nurtured in each of us is different. Among us, I am the most special, possessing the ability of nirvana."
As they spoke, the two returned to where the black blood frenzy had erupted. The range of the black blood frenzy had already expanded to 500 light-years and was rolling towards the human race's star region. It was like a giant beast in the dark night, opening its huge mouth, leaving nothing in its wake. The vermilion bird continued,
"Fortunately, this black blood frenzy isn't very powerful. I'll find a way to destroy it. I hope I can do it. I should be able to do it."
The vermilion bird's power was almost depleted. Explaining these things was like giving its last words. If the great world were still intact, it wouldn't die at all. The power of the great world could revive it in minutes. But now the great world was in a different situation. If the vermilion bird died, it couldn't be revived before the great world recovered. Just as the vermilion bird was about to take action, Lin Moyu stopped it.
"There's still time. Let me try first. If I fail, you can take over."
The vermilion bird didn't agree with Lin Moyu's words.
Protecting the great world is my responsibility. This should be done by me.
Lin Moyu said.
As a member of the human race, also part of the great world, I have a share in this matter too. Moreover, you have other things to do.
The vermilion bird was slightly stunned, not understanding what Lin Moyu meant. Lin Moyu smiled.
After we resolve the black blood frenzy, I'll tell you.
Saying this, Lin Moyu flew towards the black blood frenzy. Previously, when trapped inside, he was helpless. Now that he had escaped, he had enough time to deal with it. At the speed of the black blood frenzy, it would take at least 10 years to reach the star region where the human race was located. 10 years was more than enough time. The bone hell appeared, attaching itself to the black blood frenzy. The bone hell, only 0.1 light years in size, looked pitifully small in front of the black blood frenzy, like an ant under an elephant's foot. Using the hell fiend's ability to devour anything, Lin Moyu prepared to stage a scene of an ant biting an elephant to death.
Let's begin. Eat to your heart's content. Eat as much as you can. Eat your fill this time.
As his thoughts surged, the bone hell began to seep into the black blood frenzy. The black blood frenzy crashed into the bone hell like huge waves, trying to completely extinguish the hellfire. The hell fiends roared madly as they rushed out, beginning to devour the incoming black blood frenzy. They bit and devoured one mouthful after another, continuously and at an astonishing speed. The hellfire river was also boiling, sending out countless flames to burn the black blood. Above the bone hell, 10 suns hung in the sky, spewing countless flames, joining with the hellfire river to burn the black blood. A battle between an ant and an elephant officially began. Although the bone hell looked like an ant, it had extremely sharp teeth, biting holes in the elephant's body. It stood firm against the erosion of the black blood frenzy, continuously eating away at it. Besides the hellfire and hell fiends, what surprised Lin Moyu most was actually the spider lily. Since the spider lily appeared, apart from being beautiful, it hadn't had any other use. Facts proved that in the bone hell, nothing was useless. The spider lily bloomed with a gray-blue light, cold and in stark contrast to the hellfire. The black blood touched by this light would instantly lose most of its power, greatly weakening its erosion of the bone hell. Devouring, burning, weakening, the three worked together to deal with the black blood frenzy. A gap appeared on the black blood frenzy, like a wound on an elephant's body, bitten out by an inconspicuous ant. The vermilion bird was stunned on the spot, murmuring,
It really works. How did you do it?
Lin Moyu said.
This is my spell. It's quite magical.
The vermilion bird exclaimed.
So that's how it is.
There was still confusion in its eyes, unable to understand. However, the confusion wasn't important. What mattered most was being able to resolve the black blood frenzy. Lin Moyu suddenly asked,
Do you know about the mysterious master?
The vermilion bird shook its head.
We all know of him, but we don't know his true identity. We only know that he's very powerful. Even the heavenly sovereigns respect him greatly and follow his instructions. We four origin divine beasts have never actually met him, so we don't know his true identity.
Lin Moyu showed some disappointment, not expecting that even the vermilion bird didn't know the identity of the mysterious master. He couldn't help but murmur,
He really is very mysterious.
2248, 2248. Chapter 2248, Great World, Heavenly Sovereign, Boundary Sea. The mysterious master still maintains his mystery, but fortunately he stands on the side of the great world, and everything he does is for the great world. Arrangements made from 1,000,000 years ago seem to have never missed their mark. Unfortunately, even the vermilion bird doesn't know his true identity. Lin Moyu controlled the bone hell, steadily and continuously devouring the black blood frenzy. The black blood frenzy was frantically resisting, but no matter how it resisted, it was useless. The elephant was too big, and couldn't get rid of the ant that had already burrowed into its body. The bone hell was nibbling away at the black blood frenzy bit by bit, while digesting the origin power of the black blood great world. Lin Moyu could clearly feel that the bone hell was getting stronger, and its range was gradually expanding. The bone hell could indeed devour all kinds of powers, truly accepting all comers. It could even devour powers that the great world couldn't. In 10 years' time, it would be enough for the bone hell to completely devour the black blood frenzy, leaving nothing behind. The black blood great world's plan had completely failed, their million years of preparation destroyed in an instant. The vermilion bird also completely relaxed, its aura receding, its body shrinking to only 10 meters in size, chatting with Lin Moyu. At this moment, it had already regarded Lin Moyu as a comrade in arms. After relaxing, the vermilion bird showed some fatigue.
What do you think will happen next?
Lin Moyu said,
In another 1,000 years or so, the great world will face another crisis. There's a world that's going to collide with the great world.
The vermilion bird's feathers suddenly stood on end, and the flames that had just extinguished rose again.
What did you say?
It was clearly very nervous. It knew very well what the current situation of the great world was. If it encountered another world, the great world would be finished. Lin Moyu comforted it.
Don't be nervous. Encountering another world is both a crisis and an opportunity. The great world is currently on the verge of collapse. Without another world, it would collapse in a few years anyway. If we can absorb the origin of another world before that happens, perhaps the great world can regain its vitality.
The vermilion bird closed its eyes and remained silent for a few seconds before speaking.
What you say makes some sense. The origin of the great world has been severely damaged and urgently needs the power of another world's origin to repair it. The origin of the black blood great world cannot be absorbed and utilized. If we could obtain the origin of another world at this time, there might still be a chance.
The vermilion bird is an origin divine beast nurtured by the great world and has an extremely close connection with it. It can sense the true state of the great world. The encounter between the great world and the battle realm is both dangerous and hopeful for the great world. The vermilion bird suddenly asked,
Have you been to the Boundary Sea?
Lin Moyu nodded.
I had the fortune to go there once.
Vermilion bird.
Tell me about the appearance of that world, how big it is, and most importantly, how much of it has sunk into the Boundary Sea.
Hearing the vermilion bird's question, Lin Moyu found it strange. The vermilion bird, like the red star heavenly sovereign, was very concerned about how much of the battle realm had sunk into the Boundary Sea. It seems this point is very important. Lin Moyu said,
That world is called the Battle Realm. It's about 1/100th the size of the Great World, and about 1/3 of it has sunk into the Boundary Sea.
Upon hearing this, the vermilion bird let out a sigh of relief.
It's good that it's only 1/3. They probably don't have a heavenly sovereign.
Lin Moyu was puzzled.
Is there a connection between having a heavenly sovereign and how much of the world has sunk into the Boundary Sea?
The vermilion bird let out a light cry.
That's right. All things are divided into real and illusory. Worlds are like this, and so is the Boundary Sea. To become a heavenly sovereign, one must first understand the real and illusory, yin and yang, but this alone is not enough. One also needs the support of the world. A heavenly sovereign needs a large amount of origin power, and it must be origin power that combines the real and illusory. If the world is not strong enough, it can't provide support, so naturally, a heavenly sovereign can't appear. The size of the world and how much of it has sunk into the Boundary Sea can both reflect whether the world is strong or not. Especially the degree of sinking into the Boundary Sea, which is extremely important.
At this point, a thoughtful look appeared in the vermilion bird's eyes, as if recalling something. After a moment, it continued,
As far as I know, only when half of a world has sunk into the Boundary Sea does that world have enough origin power to produce a heavenly sovereign. If its size is only 1/100th of the Great World, even if half of it sinks into the Boundary Sea, it will only produce one heavenly sovereign, and not a very powerful one at that.
The vermilion bird explained in detail to Lin Moyu the relationship between worlds and the Boundary Sea. Whether a heavenly sovereign can be born is related to the degree to which the world has sunk into the boundary sea. At least half of the world must sink into the boundary sea for the world to produce a heavenly sovereign. And the number and strength of heavenly sovereigns are related to the size of the world. No wonder the vermilion bird and the red star heavenly sovereign insisted that the battle realm had not produced a heavenly sovereign. Lin Moyu thought of his own great world. The great world is extremely vast, hundreds of times larger than the battle realm, and half of it has sunk into the boundary sea. This also proves that the great world once produced many heavenly sovereigns, and these heavenly sovereigns were all extremely powerful. Unfortunately, those heavenly sovereigns are all gone now. Please vote. Lin Moyu pondered.
So, to produce a Tao sovereign, even more of the world would need to sink into the boundary sea.
Following this line of reasoning, it indeed seemed to be the case. Unfortunately, Lin Moyu's idea was incorrect and was immediately refuted by the vermilion bird.
No, Tao sovereigns are different.
Lin Moyu looked up at the vermilion bird, his thirst for knowledge very strong. The vermilion bird shook its head.
I once heard a heavenly sovereign say that Tao sovereigns are different. They require opportunity. What kind of opportunity? No one knows. The person who came closest to becoming a Tao sovereign was the mysterious master you mentioned. But he was too mysterious. I don't even know his identity. I only know he was very strong.
Lin Moyu understood. No wonder even a world as strong as the Great World hadn't produced a Tao sovereign. Turns out it requires opportunity.
Opportunity. What kind of opportunity is needed?
Lin Moyu thought to himself, but looking back, he felt that such matters were too distant for him. He had just recently become an other shore cultivator, and now he was considering matters of heavenly sovereigns and Tao sovereigns. It seemed a bit laughable. For now, the Black Blood Great World was still around, the battle realm was about to arrive, and the Great World was on the brink of destruction. Getting through these few things and allowing the Great World to recover should be the priority before considering other matters. Lin Moyu stopped thinking further and continued to control the bone hell to devour the black blood frenzy. The bone hell continuously devoured and refined the black blood origin power. This black blood origin power, which even the Great World found difficult to devour, could actually be refined by the bone hell. This made Lin Moyu increasingly feel the wonder of the bone hell. It could devour the black blood origin power that even the Great World couldn't absorb and refine. In the distant human race star region, the talisman Heavenly Sovereign detected the black blood frenzy. He rushed into the central hall in a panic, informing the other heavenly sovereigns of this matter. When the heavenly sovereigns heard about the black blood frenzy, they all changed color simultaneously. That was the Black Blood Great World's ultimate killing technique, difficult to resist. Just as they were getting nervous, a flying sword talisman suddenly flew into the talisman Heavenly Sovereign's hand. After reading the contents of the flying sword talisman, the talisman Heavenly Sovereign immediately relaxed.
The black blood frenzy has been resolved by young friend Lin. Young friend Lin actually awakened the vermilion bird divine beast in the vermilion bird battlefield.
As soon as he said this, everyone was stunned. The sky Heavenly Sovereign laughed heartily.
As expected of young friend Lin, even able to awaken the vermilion bird. Too powerful.
The How Heavenly Sovereign smiled and said,
The black blood great world scheme has failed. This round we have won.
2249, 2249. Chapter 2249. It's really difficult. In the blink of an eye, 6 years had passed, and the black blood frenzy was almost completely gone. After devouring and absorbing a large amount of the black blood frenzy, the bone hell had grown significantly, now spanning 0.2 light-years. The Hellfire River had become wider, and the spider lilies had become more vibrant. The 10 suns in the sky remained unchanged, but the flames they emitted had become more intense. Although the number of hell fiends hadn't increased and still numbered in the billions, their power had increased, and their auras had become stronger. They were like bottomless pits, never getting full no matter how much they ate. At this moment, the vermilion bird was completely at ease, its aura recovering, and the origin power it had previously consumed had partially returned. Finally, in the 7th year of the Black Blood Frenzy, the Bone Hell had completely devoured it, leaving nothing behind. Thus, the Black Blood Great World's million-year plan was declared bankrupt. The next task became simple. Follow the direction from which the Black Blood Great World Saint Lords had come and search accordingly. Based on the direction, the hidden location of the Black Blood Great World should be in the dark void between the Azure Dragon and Black Tortoise Star regions, but other places couldn't be ruled out. In the end, all 4 dark voids and the 4 battlegrounds needed to be swept clean. This task was time-consuming and labor-intensive but necessary. The Black Blood Great World had to be completely eradicated, leaving no trace. The vermilion bird said softly,
It would be great if we could awaken the white tiger. Why?
Lin Moyu asked. The vermilion bird replied,
The white tiger possesses a spell called bloodline tracking. With this spell, we can track the Black Blood Great World no matter where they hide.
Such a spell existed? Lin Moyu had once revived people from the Black Blood Great World. From the revived individuals, he learned that the Black Blood Great World constantly changed locations. Every so often, their position would change. Moreover, those revived individuals didn't know about the Black Blood Frenzy, indicating that information within the Black Blood Great World was tightly controlled. Each person only knew their own task and didn't know what others were doing. This time, Lin Moyu had roughly pinpointed the area but couldn't guarantee finding them. If they had the White Tiger spell, it would save a lot of trouble. While opening a space gate and flying towards the dark void, Lin Moyu asked,
How can we awaken the white tiger?
The vermilion bird replied,
It's difficult. The white tiger is different from me. It doesn't have the ability of nirvana. There are only 2 ways to awaken it. One is for the great world to awaken it. The second way is to attack it. As long as the attack is strong enough, it might awaken.
Attack it? Lin Moyu felt that didn't seem too difficult. The vermilion bird shook its head.
It's very difficult to attack the white tiger. You'll understand when you see it.
The space gate opened repeatedly, and the 2 cross-star regions at the fastest speed, entering the dark void between the Azure Dragon and Black Tortoise Star regions. Upon entering the dark void, the vermilion bird's eyes showed disgust.
The power of the Black Blood Great World is revolting.
Now they knew that the dark void was the residue of the Black Blood Frenzy, containing the origin power of the Black Blood Great World. It was a scar left by the Black Blood Great World in the Great World. Lin Moyu asked,
Is there a way to clean it up?
The vermilion bird said,
The black tortoise can do it. Its origin water can purify everything, including the dark void. We 4 origin divine beasts each have different abilities and can accomplish different tasks.
Lin Moyu was curious.
Actually, I'm very curious. Back then, there were many heavenly sovereigns and countless supremes in the great world. Why did it need to nurture you?
The vermilion bird replied,
That's because we possess different origins and can accomplish many things that even heavenly sovereigns can't. For example, my flames can burn everything. The white tiger's bloodline tracking can track enemies through their bloodline, leaving them nowhere to hide. The black tortoise's purification power can cleanse everything. And the Azure Dragon is the strongest in combat among us 4. At its peak, it could rival a heavenly sovereign.
The 4 origin divine beasts each had their strengths and, to a certain extent, represented the great world. Unlike heavenly sovereigns, they would never betray and would live and die with the great world. Compared to heavenly sovereigns, they were much more loyal and reliable. In the dark void, Lin Moyu searched for many days but found nothing. It was unclear whether the Black Blood Great World had already fled or if their hiding methods were too good to be discovered. The vermilion bird said,
They should have fled. I can sense traces of black blood left here.
Lin Moyu was somewhat helpless.
It seems we must rely on the white tiger's bloodline tracking spell. Let's go. We'll try to awaken the white tiger.
He said this while opening another space gate, preparing to head to the White Tiger battleground. The vermilion bird reminded,
Don't get your hopes up too high.
In the core area of the White Tiger battleground, a space gate appeared, and the vermilion bird flew out with a cry, followed closely by Lin Moyu. A gust of wind blew, almost blowing Lin Moyu away. Barely managing to stand firm, Lin Moyu exclaimed,
"What a strong wind!"
The vermilion bird said,
"We're still far away. It will get stronger."
The two flew towards the center of the battleground, and the wind grew stronger and more violent. Lin Moyu thought of a race he had once exterminated, called the White Tiger Clan. This white tiger was different from that one, vastly different, with no relation between the two. After traveling billions of kilometers, Lin Moyu finally saw the white tiger divine beast. Its body was over 1,000,000 kilometers long, lying in the starry sky, emitting a pure white light. The origin aura on its body was even more intense than that of the vermilion bird, indicating its combat power was above the vermilion bird's. Gusts of wind emanated from the white tiger, sweeping across the starry sky, omnipresent. Even billions of kilometers away, Lin Moyu could barely stand. He activated his undying golden body, barely resisting the wind. The wind had no special attributes. It was just extremely strong, with immense power and incredible speed. The wind's speed had surpassed the speed of light, an almost unimaginable phenomenon. The sheer force of the wind was terrifying. If a divine sovereign stood here, they would be torn to pieces by the wind, leaving no bones behind. Unlike the area around the vermilion bird, where cosmic beasts absorbed the origin aura, the wind here left nothing alive. As they approached within tens of millions of kilometers, still 50 million kilometers away from the white tiger, Lin Moyu felt he had reached his limit. If he got any closer, he would die. The vermilion bird said,
"You can try attacking it."
Lin Moyu summoned the skeleton general and unleashed sword energy. The sword energy was dispersed by the wind before it could travel 10,000 kilometers, falling far short. Lin Moyu tried to lock onto the white tiger, but it was impossible. His soul power couldn't extend that far. The wind not only dispersed spells but could also scatter souls. Unable to lock onto the white tiger, the Skeleton King's Godslayer sword would be useless, and his corpse explosion wouldn't work either. 50 million kilometers, a distance he couldn't cross. Lin Moyu tried using the space law but found that the space here, though seemingly intact, was actually riddled with holes and fragments, making it impossible to traverse. The vermilion bird said,
"Now you see, it's very difficult to approach the white tiger."
Lin Moyu agreed. It was indeed very difficult. His first thought was to have Lin Moxuan come and use her one sword to part the sea to strike the white tiger. Whether it would work or not was uncertain. The vermilion bird continued,
"The wind around the white tiger contains origin power and can blow away anything. Whether it's laws, rules, or treasures, they will all be blown to pieces. Especially within 10 million kilometers of the white tiger, where the wind is the fiercest. That's the most difficult area."
Around the white tiger, besides the fierce wind, there were countless tornadoes swirling, making it the most challenging place, as the vermilion bird had said. Lin Moyu felt helpless. It was really difficult. 2252,250. Chapter 2250. Perverted Techniques, Perverted People. Lin Moyu tried various methods, but he couldn't even fly past 10 million kilometers, let alone get close to the white tiger. He even tried the ancient containment talisman, which could indeed absorb a large amount of fierce wind, but it would quickly be shattered by the gales. According to the vermilion bird, the dense whirlwinds within 10 million kilometers of the white tiger were the most difficult area. Lin Moyu felt like giving up, thinking that even if Lin Moxuan came, her sword intent might struggle to break through. Even if she could barely break through, how much attack power would be left? As Lin Moyu pondered, he suddenly thought of a possibility. He looked at the vermilion bird and asked,
"Can you get through?"
The vermilion bird said,
"Barely, but once I get there, I can only protect myself and won't be able to launch an attack. An attack that's not strong enough won't be able to awaken the white tiger."
Lin Moyu's eyes lit up.
"As long as you can get through, that's fine. You don't need to attack, Just being able to get there is enough.
Lin Moyu began drawing talismans, his full power erupting to form a barrier, temporarily blocking the fierce winds so as not to interfere with his talisman drawing. After about 10 minutes, an ancient talisman appeared before him. The ancient containment talisman was much more powerful than the containment talisman array. Lin Moyu touched the ancient containment talisman with his finger, communicating with the vast space within, and placed the bone hell inside. To be safe, Lin Moyu also summoned all 25 skeleton kings and put them inside as well. The vermilion bird watched Lin Moyu curiously, not knowing what he was planning. After finishing, Lin Moyu handed the ancient containment talisman to the vermilion bird.
Please take this over there for me, as close as possible. All right, I'll try.
The vermilion bird opened its mouth and bit onto the ancient containment talisman. Its whole body erupted in flames, origin power surging as it flew towards the white tiger. Origin powers constantly collided and fought against each other as the vermilion bird sped through the fierce winds, getting closer and closer to the white tiger. The vermilion bird flew very steadily. The fierce winds were intense but didn't seem to affect it much. Lin Moyu knew this was the difference in strength. The vermilion bird possessed supreme-level combat power, and with the boost from origin power, its combat ability was even stronger than ordinary supremes. Although Lin Moyu had many techniques in terms of raw power, he was far inferior to the vermilion bird. In the end, it all came down to realm being insufficient. As the vermilion bird entered the most difficult area, countless whirlwinds filled this region. The vermilion bird let out a sharp cry, its flames rolling as numerous whirlwinds were incinerated. But in the next second, even more whirlwinds pounced over. The vermilion bird's speed clearly slowed down here. Lin Moyu's gaze also became sharp at this moment. Whether it would succeed depended on now. The vermilion bird struggled forward, passing through whirlwinds until it could advance no further. It had finally reached its limit, less than 10,000 kilometers away from the white tiger. The last 10,000 kilometers were like an impassable chasm. Even the vermilion bird found it difficult to get any closer. After several attempts, the vermilion bird determined it couldn't get any closer. Its wings suddenly flapped violently, sending out intense flames that forcefully carved out a path straight to the white tiger. It spat out the ancient containment talisman from its mouth, which flew along the path it had blasted open towards the white tiger. The ancient containment talisman turned into a stream of light, violently crashing into the white tiger's body. The white tiger's body was also covered in fierce winds. The ancient containment talisman instantly exploded upon impact. The skeleton kings flew out from the ancient containment talisman, immediately launching a fierce attack on the white tiger. The bone hell also expanded at the same time, trying to envelop the white tiger. Unfortunately, as soon as the skeleton kings tried to act, they were blown about by the fierce winds, completely unable to swing their swords. In less than half a second, the skeleton kings had already been blown to pieces. Luckily, the bone hell successfully expanded and enveloped the white tiger. Although it was instantly shredded by the fierce winds on the white tiger's body, it was enough for Lin Moyu. The marking was complete, and Lin Moyu successfully locked onto the white tiger. The vermilion bird flew back, its aura noticeably weaker than when it set out, clearly having consumed a large amount of power. The vermilion bird asked,
How did it go?
Lin Moyu smiled.
Watch my performance.
His aura surged, temporarily blocking the fierce winds as he took out several corpse fragments. He had used up all the Saint Lord level corpses before, but after killing 3 Saint Lords from the Black Blood Great World, he had replenished some. He still had quite a few other Shore Realm corpses left. If other Shore Realm corpses were enough to awaken the White Tiger, there would be no need to use Saint Lord level corpse fragments, better to save them if possible. White Star level technique. Corpse explosion. With a thunderous boom, massive explosive waves erupted on the White Tiger's body. He didn't need to worry about his attacks harming the White Tiger. The White Tiger's combat power was stronger than ordinary Supremes. As an origin divine beast, its defense was incredibly formidable. How could it be easily injured? The vermilion bird stared wide-eyed.
Is this your technique?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Yes, it's my technique.
As he spoke, his hands didn't stop, triggering 2 more explosions in succession. Explosions rang out continuously, destroying part of the fierce winds. The power was quite impressive. Lin Moyu concentrated the explosions on one point, as this was the only way to maximize their effect. The vermilion bird said,
Your technique is very powerful, ignoring space and time. If I'm not mistaken, you used this technique to destroy the first origin crystal.
Lin Moyu frankly admitted.
Yes, it was this technique.
The vermilion bird seemed somewhat puzzled.
But your technique shouldn't have enough power to destroy an origin crystal.
Lin Moyu explained.
The power of this technique depends on the strength of the corpse. The stronger the corpse, the more powerful the technique. To destroy the origin crystal before, I used 6 Saint Lord level corpses. I see.
The vermilion bird had a look of sudden realization. Then its eyes widened.
According to what you're saying, if you had a heavenly sovereign corpse, could you blow up a heavenly sovereign?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Indeed, I could.
Only then did the vermilion bird truly realize how perverted this technique was. Not only did it ignore time and space, but as long as there was a strong enough corpse, it was essentially a super weapon. The vermilion bird muttered.
How can there be such a perverted technique in this world?
Lin Moyu knew his technique was very powerful. But hearing these words from the vermilion bird's mouth was somewhat different. After all, the vermilion bird had seen a lot, having interacted with heavenly sovereigns for a long time. It had seen all kinds of techniques. Lin Moyu couldn't help but ask.
Is this technique really that perverted?
The vermilion bird said.
Your technique doesn't contain origin power, yet it can ignore space and time. As long as you have a strong enough corpse, you can kill enemies regardless of realm. Isn't that perverted enough? Come to think of it, the technique you used to devour the black blood frenzy is also perverted, even more so than supreme realm techniques that incorporate origin power.
The vermilion bird kept using the word
perverted.
And its gaze towards Lin Moyu had changed somewhat. Lin Moyu felt that he was now being viewed as a pervert by the vermilion bird. Following the vermilion bird's words, Lin Moyu asked,
Are there many items that contain origin power?
The vermilion bird shook its head.
Not many. Origin items also come in many types. Some are very strong, some are garbage.
Lin Moyu asked,
Can you explain in more detail?
Just as the vermilion bird was about to speak, a roar suddenly echoed through space. After being blasted over a dozen times by Lin Moyu, the white tiger had finally awakened. One roar followed another, the sound deafening and shaking their soul worlds. If it were an ordinary divine sovereign, their soul would likely have been shattered already. 2251, 2251. Chapter 2251. I wonder how the people of the battle realm will react. The white tiger's roar echoed through the starry sky, but the vermilion bird was indifferent.
Ignore it. This guy always roars for a while every time it wakes up. Let's continue. Origin power can be divided into several levels. The heavenly sovereigns of the past believed that the origin power of the great world was the strongest, followed by the origin power of small worlds, and then the origin power from the boundary sea. I don't know exactly where the origin power in the boundary sea comes from, but the heavenly sovereigns often went there, so there must be a source. However, that origin power is relatively poor, far inferior to that of the great world.
The vermilion bird enjoyed teaching and considered Lin Moyu a comrade in arms, so it explained in great detail. The small worlds it mentioned were not like the small world Lin Moyu was born in. They were truly independent and complete worlds, just relatively smaller in scale, without heavenly sovereigns, and were called small worlds. The battle realm was also a small world, but it had grown to a certain scale. Perhaps one day it would give birth to a heavenly sovereign and become a great world. Whether a world has a heavenly sovereign is the key to its classification. Looking at the current great world, Lin Moyu found it somewhat laughable. It was clearly a great world, But now all the heavenly sovereigns had left, the divine path was broken, and it no longer deserved to be called a great world. Lin Moyu didn't know how strong the origin fire seed he had fused with was, but according to the vermilion bird, it should be a great world-level origin fire seed. He also didn't know where the mysterious master had obtained this origin fire seed and kept it until now. Lin Moyu suddenly asked,
In the boundary sea, can you see the reality of the great world?
He suddenly thought of another question. He had obtained a boundary seashell and saw the battle realm approaching. The Supremes in the battle realm also had the opportunity to obtain boundary seashells. He wondered what their reaction would be when they saw the great world. After all, the great world was so vast, hundreds of times larger than the battle realm. The people in the battle realm were probably already in despair. The vermilion bird said,
Actually, you can see some of it if you're strong enough, like at the peak supreme level. At that level, origin power and the soul are fused, possessing extremely strong perception.
Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat.
So, it's very likely that the battle realm already sees the great world as a treasure trove. It seems we need the heavenly sovereign saint to conduct more divine travels and take a closer look at the situation in the battle realm.
The white tiger's roar finally stopped, and it fully awakened.
Which bastard disturbed my sleep? I'm going to eat you.
The white tiger spoke human words, roaring as it looked towards Lin Moyu. Upon seeing the vermilion bird, it was visibly stunned.
Vermilion bird?
It raised its paw to rub its eyes, confirming it wasn't mistaken, and then roared.
Vermilion bird.
The white tiger transformed into a whirlwind, shattering the starry sky, and instantly appeared in front of the vermilion bird. His huge paw hugged the vermilion bird tightly. The vermilion bird didn't dodge. This clearly wasn't the first time, and it was already used to it. As origin divine beasts, they had fought together and experienced life and death, forming a deep bond.
Vermilion bird, I never thought I'd see you again. This is great, truly great.
The white tiger shouted loudly, its voice deafening, and its huge body trembled slightly with excitement. The vermilion bird finally managed to stick its head out.
All right, if you keep hugging me, I'll be strangled to death.
When the white tiger let go, the vermilion bird tidied its ruffled feathers.
Do you even know your own strength?
The white tiger chuckled.
Too excited. I didn't expect you to complete your nirvana.
The vermilion bird said,
It was Lin Moyu who awakened me. Otherwise, I don't know how much longer I would have needed.
Only then did the white tiger notice Lin Moyu.
You awakened the vermilion bird?
Lin Moyu nodded slightly. From the brief exchange between the white tiger and the vermilion bird, he could tell that the white tiger had a straightforward and even somewhat naive personality. The vermilion bird continued,
Not only did he awaken me, but he also awakened you.
The white tiger's eyes changed slightly. It knew its own situation. While it slept, fierce winds protected it, making it difficult for even ordinary Supremes to approach. How could Lin Moyu, merely at the other shore realm, possibly awaken it? The vermilion bird said,
Enough talk. We have something to do.
The vermilion bird's expression turned serious as it explained the situation with the Black Blood Great World. Upon hearing about the Black Blood Great World, the white tiger's eyes also showed deep disgust. Like the vermilion bird, it hated the Black Blood Great World from the depths of its soul. They were mortal enemies, irreconcilable. The white tiger said,
Using bloodline tracking is no problem. I've done it before. Just give me a corpse, the fresher the better, preferably with blood still wet.
Before it finished speaking, a piece of flesh appeared before it. This was a fragment from a Saint Lord of the Black Blood Great World, with black blood still wet on it. Lin Moyu asked,
Will this do?
The white tiger's pupils contracted, and its nose twitched.
A guy from the Black Blood Great World, still as stinky as ever. This will do. Step back. I'm going to cast the spell.
Lin Moyu and the vermilion bird stepped back, giving the white tiger space. The white tiger's eyes grew brighter, and its tiger eyes emitted a radiant glow. Lin Moyu felt a strong sense of origin power. Next, two beams of light shot from the white tiger's eyes, enveloping the piece of flesh. Spell: Bloodline Tracking. The flesh silently melted into a mass of black blood. The black blood was extremely pure, and the stench became even more intense. The vermilion bird explained,
People of the black blood great world are rooted in blood. They dedicate all their essence blood to the world, which then feeds them back, granting them power. The blood they retain to sustain their lives is actually filthy blood. This cultivation method turns every person in the black blood great world into something like a dried corpse, emitting a foul stench.
Lin Moyu learned for the first time that the cultivation method of the black blood great world was so bizarre. Sacrificing essence blood, leaving only filthy blood, and then receiving immense power from the world's feedback. Lin Moyu instinctively felt that this cultivation method was wrong. It shouldn't be like this under normal circumstances. But each world has its own characteristics, and with his current realm, he couldn't make an objective evaluation. Under the white tiger's spell, the black blood quickly transformed, splitting into numerous thin lines that disappeared into the void. Each thin line contained a trace of the white tiger's origin power, which only it could sense, invisible to others. The vermilion bird asked,
How many locations are there?
The white tiger replied,
There are 4 locations in total, 3 within the domain and 1 outside, very far away.
The vermilion bird immediately said,
Ignore the 1 outside for now. Let's deal with the 3 within the domain first. All right.
The white tiger agreed immediately.
Never mind, just get on my back. You're too slow.
Only the white tiger could track them. Others wouldn't know the exact locations. Its speed was unmatched. Even the vermilion bird couldn't keep up, let alone Lin Moyu. So it offered its back for the two to ride on. The vermilion bird shook its head.
You're too slow. Lin Moyu, open the star map and let the white tiger point the direction.
2252-2252. Chapter 2252. A Real Monster. The vermilion bird said that the white tiger was slow, which made the white tiger very unhappy. The white tiger said,
Among the 4 of us, if I say I'm second in speed, who dares to claim first? How can a little guy at the other shore realm be faster than me?
The vermilion bird glanced at the white tiger without explaining further, as if saying,
Just watch and see.
Lin Moyu had already opened the star map. The white tiger looked at it and muttered,
Why is this star map so different from our time?
The vermilion bird said,
Have you thought about how long you've been asleep? The great world has changed a lot over the years. We'll talk about this later. First, mark the locations of the black blood great world.
The white tiger studied the star map for a while, finally matching the locations and marking them. The black blood great world was hidden in 3 places. One near the Golden Eagle Clan star region, close to the boundary area, another in the Black Tortoise battleground, and the last in the dark void between the Vermilion Bird and Azure Dragon star regions. After calculating the distances, Lin Moyu had a plan.
We'll go to the boundary area first, then the Black Tortoise battleground, and finally the dark void. When we go to the Black Tortoise battleground, let's see if we can awaken the Black Tortoise.
The Vermilion Bird had no objections to Lin Moyu's arrangement.
The dark void indeed needs purification, but that guy is not easy to awaken.
The white tiger patted its chest confidently.
Leave it to me. Waking that guy up is a piece of cake. But you, kid, hurry up and show me how fast you can be.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly, spread his wings of the dead, and activated the space law, opening a space gate. The white tiger was stunned for a moment, then shouted,
Space law, you're cheating. How can that count as speed?
The vermilion bird snorted.
Are you stupid from sleeping too much? Who said anything about comparing speed? Just admit he's faster than you.
The vermilion bird originally said the white tiger was too slow, never mentioning speed. It was the white tiger who kept talking about speed. In its eyes, the space gate and speed were unrelated. It considered it teleportation. What it meant by speed was flying speed. The white tiger was speechless, angrily turning its head away from the vermilion bird. The vermilion bird spread its wings and slapped the white tiger on the head.
What are you standing there for? Get in.
The white tiger muttered.
You're cheating.
Although it was very dissatisfied, it still entered the space gate. Each space gate covered 10,000 light years, opening every 10 seconds, which was indeed much faster than flying. In just a few minutes, they crossed hundreds of thousands of light years and reached their destination. The white tiger muttered,
Why has the great world become so desolate? We didn't see a single star along the way, and the area has shrunk a lot.
Lin Moyu explained,
There used to be many stars here, but we've moved them all back to the human star region.
The white tiger was puzzled.
Why do that?
The vermilion bird slapped the white tiger on the head again.
Why ask so many questions? With your brain, what's the use of knowing?
The white tiger was indignant.
Vermilion bird, we're good brothers, but you can't insult my intelligence.
The vermilion bird rolled its eyes.
Does your intelligence need insulting?
The white tiger bared its teeth in anger. At this moment, the vermilion bird slapped it again.
Stop talking nonsense and lead the way.
The white tiger snorted and flew in a direction. Lin Moyu found it amusing. The vermilion bird clearly had the upper hand over the white tiger, and the white tiger was indeed not as smart as the vermilion bird, always at a disadvantage. However, the two had a good relationship. Although they bickered, they never got truly angry. The white tiger was very fast. Although it didn't understand the space law, it could traverse the starry sky with its supreme power. Lin Moyu used the power of time and space to increase his speed to the limit of 3.2 billion kilometers per second, barely keeping up. The white tiger thought Lin Moyu couldn't keep up and looked back, only to find Lin Moyu right behind it. Seeing this, the white tiger exclaimed,
The power of time and space. You even understand the time law? Understanding both the space and time laws, you must be a monster.
Lin Moyu found it strange.
Weren't there space heavenly sovereigns and time heavenly sovereigns in ancient times?
The white tiger shook its head.
That's different.
The vermilion bird also said,
Indeed, it's different.
Lin Moyu was curious.
Can you explain in detail?
The vermilion bird said,
We'll talk about it later. Let's handle the matter at hand first.
They arrived. In the dark starry sky, a drop of pitch-black blood floated there. The blood was very small, only the size of a fist, even smaller than a drop of blood from some cosmic beasts. The blood had concealed all its aura, had no smell, and no luster, almost perfectly blending with the starry sky. Even with the undead vision, it was hard to see anything special about the blood. The soul eye was the same. It was difficult to detect from more than a kilometer away.
No wonder we couldn't find it. It's indeed very well hidden.
Lin Moyu had to admit that the Black Blood Great World, after all, was a great world and had extraordinary means. Fortunately, the Great World also had countermeasures, and the White Tiger's bloodline tracking could find them. The vermilion bird asked,
What's the situation inside?
The White Tiger said,
There are quite a few people inside. Let me count. There are 2 Saint Lords, over a dozen other shore realm cultivators, and the rest are small fry, tens of thousands of divine sovereigns.
The vermilion bird turned to Lin Moyu.
Do you want to handle it, or should I?
Lin Moyu said,
I'll do it. You two take a break.
The White Tiger stretched lazily.
All right, I just woke up and haven't fully recovered my energy.
It was so brazen about being lazy that Lin Moyu couldn't help but admire its thick skin. Lin Moyu lightly tapped his finger, and the bone hell silently appeared, enveloping the black blood. Hell fiends rushed out, opening their mouths to bite. At the same time, the Hellfire River boiled, raising huge waves that directly engulfed the black blood. The hell fiends could eat anything, and with a few bites, the black blood exploded. Space within the black blood collapsed, and countless cultivators from the Black Blood Great World were blasted out. But they were already surrounded by the bone hell and were destined to be devoured. The people of the Black Blood Great World struggled and roared, the Saint Lords leading the other shore realm cultivators in a frantic resistance. But against the endless hell fiends, their resistance was futile. Dealing with the remnants of the Black Blood Great World wasn't difficult, even if there were half-step supremes. The real challenge was finding them, as they hid very deeply, like pests. Now, with the White Tiger's help, the Black Blood Great World had nowhere to hide. The White Tiger looked at the bone hell and exclaimed,
"Your spell is very strong. It even contains origin power."
The Vermilion Bird said,
"It has fused with a great world-level origin fire seed. Of course, it's strong."
The White Tiger's eyes widened.
"Wow, such good luck. Even the heavenly sovereigns used to fight fiercely over an origin fire seed."
Lin Moyu said,
"White Tiger, you're too kind. I was just lucky."
The White Tiger shook its head.
No, no, no. Origin fire seed, power of time and space, this isn't just luck. Even the old fogey from the misty fog didn't have such good luck."
The Vermilion Bird said,
"Indeed, luck has its limits. Sometimes it's not just about luck. Like the space heavenly sovereign and time heavenly sovereign back then, they both wanted to understand each other's laws and form the power of time and space. But neither succeeded and had to give up in the end."
Lin Moyu asked.
"Is it that difficult?"
The White Tiger interjected.
"It's not just about difficulty. There are many restrictions. The laws of time and space are very special, and the power of time and space is even more special. I don't know the specifics, but it's very hard to fuse them."
The Vermilion Bird said,
"It's right. Among the many laws, some are very special. Time, space, fate, and causality are all related to the boundary sea. We don't know the exact reasons."
The White Tiger continued,
"Anyway, it's very special. For you to master the power of time and space, it can only be said that you're a real monster."
2253 2253